Joining me right now is UFC bantamweight Martin Day. Martin, thank you so much for joining me today. Happy belated birthday. I see that you just had your birthday yesterday, I believe. How do you celebrate your birthday during a training camp?
Oh man, it's tough, but I still have a little bit of time out from now until my fight. So I did a little extra dieting, got my weight down a little bit, so I could eat a little bit of food. Not too much, of course, nothing too crazy, but yeah, got to eat a little bit. But right back on the grind again today.
Any cake? At least get some cake?
Yeah, no cake for me.
Okay.
Got to keep it pretty clean. Got to keep the diet clean. Got to put winning first. So do what I got to do to get that done, and then the celebration can come after.
No doubt, man. Get a big ass cake after the fight.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
For sure. I see that you're big into surfing. Of course, you're in Hawaii, right? Give me some surf stories, man. Anything crazy that happened on the waves or anything like that?
No, I mean nothing super crazy. I'm not like a big wave surfer or anything, but I've had some. I guess I got some kind of okay stories. Actually, maybe like during the quarantine, so at some point a few months ago, I was out surfing one of my spots here in Kailua, and I was this particular break is close to the edge of a canal. Sharks like that brackish water. So I was there and I was surfing, and in a wave maybe about like 30-40 yards away from me, I saw the wave come up, and I saw like a good sized tiger shark inside of the wave. So I was like, it was it wasn't super big. It was probably like a good like 5 feet, still big enough to take off an arm or something. But anyway, so for those of you guys that don't know, tiger sharks are one of the most aggressive sharks, and that's something we have a lot of that here in Hawaii. Anyway, I was already kind of thinking about going in. Sometimes it's hard to go in. You're having fun. You're getting good waves and stuff. But this time I was like on the fence already when I saw that. And I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I told a couple people on the water, I was like, hey, just saw that over there. Keep your feet up, I said, and I paddled in. But yeah, pretty much, had some other stories. It's like lose your board, got to swim about a good amount of distance in. Started thinking to myself, man, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it this far in? They're gonna find my body or what? But no, yeah, nothing too crazy. Like I said, I'm not like a big wave surfer or anything. So
Has surfing become more regular for you because of the restrictions? I guess if there are restrictions, you could be outside, right? Are the beaches always open?
the beaches have not been open the whole time. So in Hawaii, the beaches they closed for a little while, but you could still access the ocean through any beach. So if you wanted to go surf, paddle, swim, you could access the ocean through any beach. But there was a little while where the beach itself was closed. You weren't allowed to sit on the beach or just hang out and stuff. Even now, it's in groups of I forget what the number is, but you can't have more than 5 people in a group right now. But in the water, you can go in the water and do whatever you need to do, And when you're surfing, it's easy to keep social distancing.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Now let's go back to July, man. Over the summer, UFC 251, you took on Davy Grant. Hell of a fight, very entertaining fight. A lot of great exchanges, high pace. Give me your thoughts on the fight and some positives that you came out of it with.
Yeah, I learned, from a fight like that where you go almost the whole 15 minutes and you get to have a lot of good exchanges with a guy like that. You learn a lot. You take a lot away from it. One thing I learned is that Davy Grant is one tough guy. That guy. I mean, I broke his jaw and nose in I think the first round, and he came back and he ended up putting me away. So yeah, obviously, that ending sequence. I made a mistake and he capitalized on it, hit me with that good punch. But I felt like I was doing real good leading up to that. I felt like we were putting on an exciting fight, and felt like I was getting some good exchanges in there, landing some good shots. Possibly on my way to winning a decision, but he came back with that one good shot. Landed right in the button. So, went back in the gym, worked on some of those things. Obviously in that fight, if you watch that fight, I got taken down a couple of times. So worked on a lot of that defense, being a little smarter with my striking. And yeah, I could go on and on about the things I could take away from it and the things we learned, but yeah, I'll just kind of let that show on my next fight and hopefully not make those same mistakes again.
You returned to Hawaii from Abu Dhabi. You go into quarantine. How was that time in isolation?
It was good. It was nice. I actually did my quarantine in the Big Island, the Hawaii Island, and that's the nickname is the Big Island just because it's the biggest island in the chain over here, and it's a lot different than the island that I'm from. So it's really country over there. My parents own a house there, so I went and stayed there, and it's like really like off and isolated on the Hilo side. Um, it's nice just to be in nature like that and just kind of just be able to relax. And when I grew up in that side of the Big Island when I was a kid, so always brings back a lot of memories and stuff being there. Um, but yeah, it was a good way to do my quarantine instead of just kind of more in the city. I was able to be with nature a little bit, and that's always nice.
How long did the loss linger with you? You know what I mean? And what are the steps that you usually take to kind of get over it mentally? I think mentally it's the biggest hurdle, right?
Yeah, it's like that's a tough question because it's the sometimes these losses and they stick with you forever. Like, I mean, obviously I haven't been around forever, but I've talked to retired fighters and mentors of mine who used to box or fight back in the day or whatever it was, and a lot of times it's really hard to let go of these the losses and the mistakes, and just that split second in a fight can change so much. And it's not like in like soccer where if you miss a goal you're going to be there's health consequences when you get clipped like that or when you make a mistake in a fight. It's not like in another sport where it's like, oh, we'll get them next time. There's things that go along with it that's different than other sports, and those things can stick with you for a long amount of time as well as the mental thing. So but as far as the mental, I feel like I'm getting better with being able to just you know, take it as a learning experience and go from there. I try to give myself a set amount of time to, I guess, sulk over it and be like, I give myself maybe a day to feel bad about myself. And then from then on, it's the looking back part and looking at the loss and looking at the fight is just from perspective so I can learn and get better from it. So it's a lot easier said than done because the what ifs they haunt you sometimes, but I try not to let them haunt me, and I just, like I said, use them to make myself better, and not just a better fighter but just a better person, a stronger person in general.
You speak of health consequences. You were knocked out. So what was the protocol like with the doctors for you to return back to hard training or sparring?
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I mean. They in this sport, you make one split second mistake and it can cost you big time. So when you get clipped like that and you get knocked out, you gotta take it really seriously. It's your head, so you gotta make sure that you do the right things to be able to recover. Obviously, no more no sparring for a while. Nothing really jarring to the head. The UFC, the doctors for the UFC, they give you they suspend you. They give you a medical suspension so that you can heal. And then I definitely followed up with my doctors here in Hawaii. Did different types of treatments so that I can recover faster. Most of the time when you take a hit like that, you're gonna have delayed concussion symptoms or concussion symptoms of some sort. So you just gotta deal with those and put your health first because if you don't have your health, you don't have much, right? So yeah, I took care of all that. I was really smart about my recovery process, and now I'm feeling really good, really really good. No problems at all with that.
Yeah, that's good to hear because fighters, they're some of the most stubborn, but at the same time toughest, in the
Yeah,
world at any sport. So they might feel something, but they feel like, oh, that's just part of it. That's just part of the sport. So I'm just gonna move forward. But it's good that you
right.
kind of pull back, see the doctors at home, and get over it properly.
Well, it's tough for me too. I think for any fighter, you just want to get back in there and do what you kind of are made to do, right? But that's why it's important for me to have the right people around me so that they can say, wait, you got to hold on a second. You got to make sure you're smart about this. Like my coaches, my wife, she's like the person that's always kind of telling me like, what? No, you're not ready to go back to sparring yet, or this and that, and tell you need to go see the doctor first or whatever it is, really. So if I was on my own, I would probably just be like, yeah, screw it, I'm just gonna go spar this week already. But yeah, so it's good to have the right people around you, the right support system that have your best interests in mind. And I feel like I'm really blessed with that, so that's good for me.
There's no doubt about that. Now you're returning November 28th against Anderson dos Santos. Looking at him, looking at his fights, what do you see? What does he bring to the matchup?
He's dangerous. Everyone in the UFC is very dangerous. These guys are the best in the world. The UFC is the best fighters around. But obviously, if you look at his record, he's got a ton of experience. He's got about twice the amount of fights that I have. So, that's always good to have that experience. But I have a lot of experience too. That's not on my MMA record. As far as my martial arts career and my kickboxing fights go. But yeah, he brings that to the table. He's got, he's aggressive. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna bring the heat. But I like that. That's good. It's gonna make for an exciting fight. And like I said, all these guys are beasts in here. So they're all just beasts in different ways. We just got to be smart about how we break down each and every one of them, or whoever one we're gonna fight next, and just kind of dissect the opponent and exploit his weakness and take the fight where areas where I'm strong and he may not be as strong as me. And that's what we're gonna do on the 28th.
I saw that Hawaii is down to less than 100 cases per day, which is a good sign. The restrictions, have they been lifted, or are there still some in place?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of restrictions in place still. I think Hawaii is one of the more strict states as far as the restrictions go right now, among the other states in the U.S. Like, for example, we can't have a group larger than 5 to go into a restaurant, or actually no indoor gatherings of over 5 people. And, just, things like that. Even though we have smaller numbers too, we're also a much smaller spot, so things can spread real fast. So our leaders got to be smart and about the restrictions in place and how we can even make the numbers go even more down. You know what I mean? So yeah, we still got some restrictions going on. Recently, the gyms will have opened back up again, but with restrictions in place for there. It's not just like a free for all. And main thing is too, we're just being smart about it, because obviously if me or one of my cornermen come down with COVID, we're not going to be able to fight. Right, fights off. So we got to be smart about how we approach training and who we surround ourselves with and all that stuff.
So it's just been a really close-knit group for yourself for this camp?
Yeah, we keep it pretty tight. We're not doing unnecessary things around huge groups of people and stuff like that. That'd be tough anyway with the restrictions in place. You wouldn't really be able to do that legally. So yeah, definitely being smart about the training process, keeping the group small, and really just the guys that I need and to give me that look for my opponent on the 28th.
Who have been giving you the looks for this camp?
I got some great guys helping me out with this one. We got Pierre Daguzan. He's Bellator veteran, one of my main sparring partner for this. Kenan Kawai, he was in the UFC Contender Series. My boy Blaine, he's been helping me out a lot too. Of course, my coaches, Rylan Lazaris, Charles Kipilii, Russell Doan, a UFC veteran. He's been helping me out a lot too. He's been helping me since day one in my career, really. Yeah, all the guys over at Hawaii Elite MMA and a bunch of guys over at Technics Jiu-Jitsu too, all just kind of giving me their input, helping me out. There's not too many of them right now just because of the smaller numbers and stuff, but I'm getting a lot of help from some good guys.
What's the update on Russell Doan? Is he still fighting?
Russell is not fighting currently, and he's got a lot of things going on. As far as his own little businesses and stuff like that. She's helping a lot with the fighters over at Hawaii Elite. Myself included, and he's a great coach. He has a really good eye, really smart. Helps with the game planning, and so he's not fighting right now. I'm not sure what his plans are about coming back to fight. So you'll have to ask him
Yeah.
yourself on that one. But yeah, he's doing good. He's doing real good.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him for a while, and just wondering. Another guy at Hawaii Elite that I'm wondering about. I don't know if you know anything, but Lowen.
Yeah.
Lowen.
Actually, Lowen's been helping me. I forgot to mention him. He's been
Okay.
one of my guys for this fight too coming up. He's been helping me out. But he actually just started camp this week for his own fight, and so he's not going to be helping me as much. You know, he's got to focus on himself. But yeah, Lowen's going to be fighting in December. Down in Singapore, I believe. I'm not positive on that, but you know he's gonna be mixing it up over there in one.
Oh damn, I'm happy to hear that, man. Lowen is like the guy that really not many people know about, but I feel like he's like one of the best lightweights in the world. He just hasn't been able to fight.
Yeah, Lowen is the best lightweight in the world. I mean, he's so people don't realize it. He's just had a kind of a rough string of. He's had a couple injuries, and he was out for a little while with that, and he just had some bad luck. But Lowen is just a whole nother monster, and he's showed it in his fights thus far. You know, he's just been smashing guys, and man, in December somebody's going down. I'm telling you that right now.
What was that movie? He's like, somebody gonna die. Somebody gonna die.
Yeah. I feel bad for whoever gets in Lowen's way in there.
Yeah, definitely have to. I'm gonna have to reach out to Lowen before he fights.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's doing good, looking like a beast as always.
Definitely. Now, what type of performance are you expecting out of yourself against Dos Santos?
I'm expecting a smart yet always exciting performance from myself. You know, most people that watch me fight, they know that I'm looking to keep the fight on the feet. You know, it's not really a secret. Use my kicks, use my boxing, and just put on a show that way. So that's what I always look to do, and just got to be smart about my approach. You know, tweak little things here and there. But really, the gist of it doesn't really change for me. I'm definitely always looking to keep it on the feet, and that's what I like to do. So it works out, and you know that's what the fans most of the time. I feel like that's what they want to see. That's what's exciting, and you know that's what I bring every time. I feel like.
Do you feel like your back is against the wall in this fight? You know what I mean, with the back-to-back losses.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely got to go out there and make a statement, and you know I feel my opponent is also coming off back-to-back losses, so we're both going to be going in there, and we're both going to be looking for that to make a statement. So, you know, that's a recipe for a good show for sure. And yeah, definitely looking to get in there and get in that win column again.
All right, November 28th, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Martin, always good catching up with you, man. All the best, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe if you get this win, you could get in another one in December. Who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, a lot of guys are getting those quick turnarounds. We'll see what happens.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with a